Hi everybody, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this awesome looking stitch. Now this stitch isn't mine. I found it while scrolling through Instagram, and there was a Russian channel called Astra Liba Diva 2019, and she's a Russian lady and she does design a lot of her own stitches, plus she uses other stitches she's found, but she does design a lot of stitches and this is one of hers. And I loved it, and I asked her if I could do a tutorial in English for you guys, and she said yes. On her Instagram page, and she also has a video of this, though it doesn't have any sound, but it may be better lighting, I don't know. She used a bright yellow yarn and you'll be able to see her stitches maybe a little bit better, because this is not worked in the traditional stitches, and I'm going to show you that. So I have couple of pieces here that I did. So this is one of the first pieces that I did, and it doesn't have a border. It's just worked right into the chain. I thought probably be better if it had a border on the top and bottom, and so that's what I made this piece. The multiples of this stitch is 6, and what that means is that you're going to be doing a chain of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 until you've reached your desired width. And what you do then, if you're going to be making it with a single crochet border, then go ahead and do a +1. So do your multiples of 6, then chain 1 more, and then do your row of single crochets. If you are doing it without a border, then do your multiples of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and when you get to the end, you'll do you'll start your very first stitch in the 5th chain from the hook. I did all these with a 5mm hook and a worsted weight yarn. Okay, so I have my chain of 30, and like I said, if you're not interested in having a base row and you just want to get right into the stitch, then you would yarn over twice, count over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in this 5th chain you'd want to insert your hook and pull up a loop. Now you have 4 loops on your hook, and remember this because I'm going to be teaching you the full stitch here in a minute. This is just to let you know, if you're just starting in the chain, to start in the 5th chain. Now I'm starting with a base row, at least I want to, so I have my 30 stitches that I need, but for a base row of single crochets you need to do a +1. And then in the 2nd chain from the hook, start to do your single crochets. Single crochet down your whole line, and when you get to the end, count your stitches, and you should have, I'm going to have 30. You should have the total that you started with. For row 1, you always want to start your row while doing this stitch by chaining 4, and then turn. And this is where we catch up from before. You want to yarn over twice, and in the same stitch you just did your chain 4 from, you'll insert your hook and pull up a loop. 4 loops on your hook. This is just like I was showing you a second ago with the chain. Now we've caught up. So now you want to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, leaving 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, skip a stitch or a chain, and in the next one, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, skip the next stitch, and the following stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops, leaving 5 loops on your hook. Now you want to yarn over and only pull through 3 of those loops, leaving 3 left on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that completes our first stitch, and that is what we'll be calling our decrease stitch. Now we're going to be making our increase stitch. To do that, you'll yarn over twice, and without skipping a stitch, so the very next unworked stitch or chain, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to be doing a regular triple crochet here, so just yarn over, pull through 2. You'll do that 3 times to complete your triple crochet. Now chain 1 and yarn over once. And now we're going to be going through the side stitches. These 2 stitches that are created when you create your, when you pull through your first set of 2 stitches with the triple crochet, you create these 2 stitches. And those are the 2 stitches here that we're going to be using to make our double crochet. So insert your hook in those 2 side stitches, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. You're going to do a double crochet. Then chain 1, then yarn over once again, and then go into those same 2 side stitches, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's our first increase stitch. So let's show you again. Next we're going to be doing a decrease. So yarn over twice, and without skipping a stitch, going right into the next stitch, pull up a loop. Then yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then yarn over, skip a stitch, and in the next stitch, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. You should have 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We've just completed our second decrease stitch. Now I'm going to show you again how to do this increase. Again, before you're starting a decrease stitch or an increase stitch, you're always going to be yarning over twice. So in the very next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Remember, on an increase, we're making a complete triple crochet. So you're going to pull through 2, and you see how I made this first pull through? How these 2 are part of the actual stitch. See the V of the stitch? If you're an advanced person, you probably know that is the stitch right there, and then this is the stitch that covers it. Well, we're going to be using this part of the stitch and this string part here that covers it to do our double crochets. You'll be going in through this one and then that second one there. So we're not actually using the very first part of this stitch, only this loose stitch here and then the second part of the stitch there. Going to be going into those stitches. So go ahead and pick up your yarn. So after you've done your triple crochet, you will you will chain 1. You'll always chain 1 after. Yarn over once because we're doing double crochets. And just like I showed you, we're going to be going into those 2 stitches on the side here and pulling a loop through that. Then finish your double crochet as usual and chain 1. Yarn over once and do your second double crochet using those same stitches. And that's your second increase. So you're going to keep alternating decrease, increase, decrease, increase. And every time you start your next stitch, you will always you'll always yarn over twice, and you'll always never skip a stitch. You'll always start in that very next stitch. So I'll go through the decrease again with you because it is the only one that we do some skip stitches in. So once you've yarned over twice, go into that very next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through only 2, then yarn over, skip a stitch, go into the next, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, skip the next chain or stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, leaving 5 loops on your hook. You'll yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your next decrease. Now remember, then you're going to be yarning over twice, and then you're going to be making your triple crochet stitch here, and then doing your chain 1, and then your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet to do your increase. You're going to continue this down your row, and at the end you should have one stitch left over. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you here in a moment. I've come to the end of my row here, and I just did the last decrease stitch of my row, leaving my last stitch here. So to end this row, and to end every row, you will be using a triple crochet. So triple crochet in this very last stitch of your row. Sorry, I couldn't get my hook in there. I still can't. There we go. I seem to keep getting stuck. I still am. So triple crochet in that very last stitch of your row, and that ends row 1. So for row 2, and for every row at the beginning, you will do a chain of 4 and turn. Now every row will start differently. We're going to start, this one has a decrease stitch, and the next row will have an increase stitch to start with. And you'll work them the same way, an increase stitch, like you're going to do a decrease stitch at the beginning of your row. They're always going to be worked exactly the same no matter where they are on the row. And as usual, you will always yarn over twice. So the thing about this stitch is she doesn't want to work in the actual stitch, which would be this one here. I don't know if I can get a little closer for you. See, that's the actual stitch. She uses so usually when you go into a stitch, this little stitch here is under your hook. But instead, she wants you to go under this stitch. So instead of it being under your hook, it's going to be above. And I think she does that because she wants the stitches to completely line up. And if you put it in an actual stitch, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you work in your actual stitch, as you continue on with like single crochets, for instance, working in the stitch, your stitches will always be kind of diagonal because you're always slightly askew from the center. And by using the stitch under, it makes it more even. And I'll show you this piece here. As you can see, all the stitches line up. And I think it's because she uses this particular stitch to make the next connection. So instead of going into the actual stitch, you want to go into that little space below. So yarn over, going into that little stitch there, pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, this is an increase because this is a decrease here, and always when making an increase, you will complete a triple crochet to completion. And then always chain 1 after, because remember, you need the spaces in between, and the chains create that space. So chain 1 to create that first space, and then we're going to make our first double crochet by going into those side stitches. Those 2 side stitches here on the bottom of our triple crochet that I showed you earlier, and pull up a loop. And then you complete your double crochet as usual and chain 1. Then complete your second double crochet by using those same side stitches. Now you have your first increase over your decrease stitch. Now we have an increase in the next section here, so now we're going to be doing a decrease stitch. So yarn over twice, and again we're using that stitch under, not in the stitch, but that little stitch below. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through only 2. Then yarn over, skipping the chain 1 spaces. We're always going to skip the chain 1 spaces. We're only working in the double crochets. You're also going to use that same stitch, that space on the stitch, to insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then yarn over, and this third one, we're just going to use this big old space. So just put your hook in that big space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you should have 5 loops on your hook. You want to yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And that's how you create your decrease stitch on an increase stitch. And you can see it already has that pattern starting. So next we have another decrease. So we're going to do our increase on it. So yarn over twice, and going under that main stitch, we're going to do a triple crochet stitch to completion, chain 1, then yarn over once, and using this side stitch here, do your double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, using the side stitches, doing a double crochet to complete our increase. Now I'll show you a decrease again. Like I said before, always yarn over twice before starting your next stitch, using these double crochets only and not the spaces. Going under that stitch to use our under stitch there, yarn over, then the next stitch, skipping the chain 1, yarn over, and then the third time we'll go under that big old space, pull through. Now we have 5 loops on our hook. Again, pull through 3, pull through 2, pull through 2. And now again we're going to be starting our increase here, triple crochet and then the 2 double crochets. So go ahead and complete your row, and I will show you how to end this, to end row 2. Okay, I've now come to the end of my row, and I have my increase as my last stitch here, and leaving just this chain 4 that you begin your rows with. So what you do when you come to the end chain 4 is you will always skip the very first chain, and in the last chain you'll do your triple crochet that ends your row. So yarn over twice, skip that first chain, and in the second chain you'll complete your triple crochet, leaving these last 2 chains to be that step up there. And that completes row 2. Okay, for row 3, you're going to, like you always do, chain 4 and turn. Now we have a increase stitch here, so it tells us we need to do a decrease this time. And just like before, always going to do a a yarn over twice, and then again we're only going to be using the stitches themselves. Going to go under the main part of the stitch, and we're going to do our decrease stitch as normal. You've done so many of them by now, I'm sure. Then next we have our decrease area. So again, this hair, yarn over twice, going under that main stitch into that special place, and then we're going to do a triple crochet to completion. Then chain 1 and do your double crochet, chain 1, then your double crochet. And then again, the very next one is going to be a decrease. Pull through 3, pull through 2, pull through 2. And then we're going to continue to do this down our row, and I will show you how to end your row. Doing my last few stitches here. While I do my last few stitches, I wanted to tell you that I've been working really hard on adding captions, or subtitles, captions, subtitles to my videos. And I can't do every language, obviously, but I have added several. So if you usually watch my videos in English, but your maiden, I should say your mother tongue is another language, check down there, because I have auto-translated languages. Obviously, I don't speak 50 languages, but check and see if it's there. And if you have a video or a project you are having difficulty completing of mine, then go ahead and find that video if you still know where it is. If not, if you know the name of it, you can leave a comment down below and tell me. But you can leave a comment on that video or this video and let me know what language you would like me to add auto-generated on that channel for you. I mean on that video for you, and I will. So I finished the last decrease of my row, and again I have my chain. Again, it's always going to be triple crochet. You're going to always skip the first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the first, and then the second chain, you're going to do your triple crochet. And that ends row 3. Now I'm going to show you how to put the border on this side. Okay, so the repeat of this stitch is rows 2 and 3. So you can back up the video and keep repeating rows 2 and 3 until you've reached your desired size. And then when you're ready to put the border on the other side here, this is how you do it. So I'm doing single crochets, so I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And if you just do all your stitches across, then you're going to end with 2 stitches short. So what you want to do is put 2 single crochets in your first stitch and 2 single crochets in your ending stitch to even that out. So the very first stitch here, we're going to put 2 double crochets in it. And now we're going to work in every single stitch, and this time we're not going below, just go right into the stitch. So this is the stitch of our decrease, and then this is the double crochet, and you're going to be working in the chain 1 spaces as well. Then the next double crochet, chain 1 space, and in the big spaces here I still just went through the big old space just to keep it consistent. Then once in that decrease area, then double crochet, chain 1 space, the next double crochet, chain 1 space, and then the big space. So continue this down your row, and I'll show you how to end this row. Okay, I'm at the end here. This is my very last decrease of my row, so I'm going to put my stitch there. Now come up to my ending chain 4. In the very first chain of it, we're going to put 1 single crochet. And then the second chain, which is typically how we end our row, in that chain put 2 single crochets, leaving the last 2 alone to be that step up. Now I began with 30 stitches across. Now I need to count to make sure I have 30 here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. So I have my 30 stitches all the way to the end. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please go check out that channel on Instagram, the lady who designed the stitch. Her name is Astra Libby Diva 2019. I'm going to leave all that information, and I'll also show pictures of her channel here on screen. I made a video of kind of scrolling down her Instagram page, kind of giving you an idea of some of the stitches and projects that she does. And I'll leave a link to her Instagram page down below this video. Check me out on Facebook. I post there every day several patterns, not just mine, other people's, just whatever is big or popular. I also gather the top 3 and put it in something called Week in Review. Also on Wednesdays, I have share your work, what you're working on Wednesday. So feel free to go there, because now that Facebook has updated where you can share pictures on business pages now, you can go there and share with me if you're doing this project or any other project of mine, or just any project. I'd love to see it. Just come share a picture of what you're working on this Wednesday. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and share and subscribe. It helps me out so much. That's it. Bye.